Good morning. Today is Monday, January 19th, 2026, also known as Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And I am your host, Sir Felix the Cat, and this is Talk Better Politics Morning Talk, a weekday morning show where I cover stories that I think are interesting for the day and also ones that I don't think get enough attention. Because with today's media, that's kind of how it goes. News stories just get passed by because current administration is just flooding the zone with everything they possibly can to keep us distracted. But anyways, yes, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Very famous protester, civil rights activist who fought to end, basically, or try to end racism in the United States. Stop segregation, stop all this dumb bullshit that keeps happening. And we need more people like that, especially today with this Nazi Gestapo that's coming after us. I mean, the only difference between the Gestapo and Nazi and what we have now is the Nazis weren't known as pedophiles. Meanwhile, the MAGA population is kind of sadly known as pedophiles because they support a pedophile protector. But yeah, that's just fun facts. Anyways, let's get on with some news. All right. Whoops, started down too low. First one I want to talk about is a judge dismisses Trump's administration lawsuit seeking California voter data, which the only reason he wants this data is so he knows who to attack. It's used just for an assault on the American public, like he's been doing with his Gestapo. It's wonderful that they did do it, but in a 33-page order, U.S. District Judge David O. Carter in California dismissed a lawsuit that sought to give the Justice Department access to the Democratic-led state's voter files, including records like social security numbers and driver's license information. They don't need that. They 100% don't need that, considering our government also has access to this stuff already. They don't need to come out and have a list of people who they're going to attack. We shouldn't have lists of people, and that's what they want. They want to have lists of people who have autism, so they know who to attack. They want a list of people who are transgender, so they know who to attack. It's disgusting. It's vile. It is absolutely vile. But I hope this isn't going to get overthrown. It's the Trump administration. It's what Trump does. If he doesn't win automatically, then he tries to refile it here and go to this court, take it to Supreme Court, and that's his whole goal in the end, is take it to Supreme Court. So that Supreme Court, who's basically in his lap, can just say, oh, yeah, absolutely. You can have everything. You can have their blood file, like their blood type and everything. Just here you go. And then there'll be a list of people to attack. Because we have the most petty, insecure little bitch of a president who just likes to attack the American people. And talking about people, CNN poll finds majority of Americans say Trump is focused on the wrong priorities, which is kind of a given. He wants to go after Greenland. Who in America wants Greenland? One person, the Orange Chode. He wants Greenland for himself. He even came out and said recently, I want Greenland for my mental health. It's not for national security. They have resources there and he wants them. He also wants to basically just stamp his name all over the map. He tried to change the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Nobody calls it that except for maybe Google and Apple. I think Apple Maps did it too. But MapQuest calls it the Gulf of Mexico because that's what it is. Just because you want to say something's different doesn't mean it's a fact. That's not how the world works. But yeah, in this poll, they found out a majority, 58%, call the first year of Trump's term failure, which I'm surprised it's so low. I figured that would be more like 70% at least. At the bare minimum, 70% of the country believes it's a failure. I know most of the world considers it a failure. That's just unanimous. It's bad. Yeah, exactly. That's why he wants everything. It's a dying man's desperation to leave a legacy. I mean, he already gave himself a memorial. He put his name on the JFK Memorial Theater. You can't have a memorial if you're alive. So trying to pre-plan your memorial is pretty dumb and very petty. Very petty to have to put your name on there. It's almost as petty as putting up those plaques underneath all the pictures of the presidents in the White House. Like, oh, Bill Clinton, he was the president, blah, blah, blah. But I beat his wife in an election. Like, nobody cares, dude. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about you. Except for your hardcore sycophants who, I'm guessing they pulled a ton of them in order to get 58%. It had to be a majority of them. I mean, a lot of MAGA has since turned on him. They're starting to wake up and be like, oh, he's not for us. The only ones who still fully support him are the ones who are extremely thick or, pedophiles and racist. That's what it comes down to. But they asked to choose the country's top issue. Americans picked the economy by nearly a 2-to-1 margin over any other topic. Because as I've even mentioned here on this show before, our economy is shit. It is absolutely horrendous. I was talking to Hawk the other day, and I told him, I just got my paycheck. And within a couple hours of getting that paycheck, I'm pretty much broke. That was all my money. I had to go get new tires, had to get my car inspected, and pay some bills. And after that, yeah, I'm done. I'm tapped out. People in this economy cannot afford a random issue to pop up. Say you just replaced your tires and you spent all your money like I just did. And I'm driving down the road, I hit a pothole and it busts my axle. I'm screwed. I'm screwed for probably a couple months because the next check has to be go towards bills again. And then I'll save a little bit from the next one if I can. And then next check is bills again. And then I might have more to be able to afford that repair. But that's a couple months of me not having a vehicle, not having transportation. If I need to take my kids to the hospital, well, now I have to get up another, wait, what's that? No base set Charizard for you. What's that? The Lego thing? Oh yeah, the big Pokemon Lego thing, which was over 1,000 pieces. Thing is crazy expensive. Lego is, I like what they do, but Jesus Christ, their prices are insane. And of course, that goes to the economy. It's a disaster. But yeah, people are screwed if they have some random thing come up that costs money, and it's not cool. It is absolutely terrible, absolutely terrible. But Trump will claim, and he has claimed. He claimed this in Michigan, I believe it was early last week, that he fixed inflation. Well, first, inflation is just or affordability. That is a Democratic scam. It's a made-up thing by the Democrats, which is a lie because affordability means the ability to afford it. Most people can't afford this stuff. So that is affordability. Houses do not fall under affordability. Insurance, like health insurance, barely falls under affordability. That's why there was Obamacare, or the whatever they call it, the health thing that Obama passed. That everybody calls Obamacare. Lost the words, but there were a lot of people on that because insurance is crazy expensive. You get it a little bit cheaper when it comes out of your paycheck if your company is the one doing the insurance. However, it's still insanely expensive. Plus, you have to meet your deductible. You have to have the initial payment when you first come into the office. Like, oh yeah, you have to pay $50 now, and then we're going to send you a bill. You're going to have to pay a majority of that or all of it if you haven't met your deductible yet. So the insurance companies are raking in money. We're getting fisted, and Trump's like, that's a good plan. Now he announced his newest plan for insurance, which is basically the government's going to give you money and you put that towards the insurance that you want, towards your health care. So we're going to pay them taxes. They're going to take a small part of that taxes and give it back to us and say, that's all you need for health care. And I guarantee it's not going to be enough. It'll probably be a 1 to 2 month insurance policy. And that's it. After that, it's all on you. It's another scam, kind of like how he wanted to do the soldiers and stuff with their 1776 bullshit check, where he was taking their money they paid in for their housing stipend and then was going to give it back to them at a rate that can be taxed when their housing stipend is not taxed money. it was going to screw them over. And anybody who celebrated that, thought that was a good idea, is uneducated. You did not study to understand what is going on here. And you don't have to study that hard. Take 10 seconds to look, do a little bit of Google foo, and you'll figure it out. It'll explain it to you like, oh yeah, it's a scam. Because anything that comes out of his mouth that's supposed to be a great idea, it's a scam and it's going to screw you over. That's just what we've seen from him from his first term. His second term is just absolute disaster. It's getting worse. 2026 has turned out to be one of the worst years. And that's just, we're still in the first month. We're just a little over halfway through it. And it's already starting off to be one of the worst years ever. And that's something we're going to talk about tonight. We will have the main Talk Better Politics podcast tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, which will be awesome. Oh, yeah, we're absolutely going to talk about this tonight with the DOJ investigating the widow of Renee Good, because they want to find proof that those two are paid agitators and their whole investigation, like what they put down on paper, is ridiculous. They're investigating her to make sure she's not part of any anti-Trump protest group. What does having to be anti-Trump have to do with anything in life? You can be a person, be anti-Trump, and you're still a legal citizen. It's not a crime to think Trump is a moron. I mean, you're actually proving you're more intelligent if you understand Trump is a moron. The guy who called Biden Sleepy Joe, closes his eyes to take little naps constantly. He sit there, he's like, no, they just caught me while my eyes were closed. They took that quick picture, which that quick picture always ends up being a video that's minutes long, where he's sitting there like this. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. What else do we have here? 55% majority say Trump's policies have worsened economic conditions in the country, with just 32% saying that he's made an improvement. If you can show me places where he's made an improvement in the economy, I would love to see it. I would love for anybody to be able to show me that evidence that, hey, he's improved things, because it's not true. I mean, remember that word he made up, groceries? Well, groceries are more expensive nowadays. And that has a lot to do with him. It has everything to do with him. Tariffs. And because these places are being tariffed, companies here in the US jack up their prices because they don't want to seem like less quality because they cost less. So it's another scam to screw us, and he supports it. Most 64% says he hasn't gone far enough to try to reduce the price of everyday goods because he hasn't done shit for it. Even with the GOP, about half say that he should be doing more, including 42% among Republicans and Republican leaners who describe themselves as members of the Make America Great Again movement, aka morons. It's a weird way to spell morons, but I guess MAGA is how you spell moron. It's interesting. Yeah, stock bros. Some stocks are doing great. Good for them. Does that affect the majority of the country? Does it affect the majority of people on this planet? No. It doesn't do shit for us. It just shows that these douchebags are making more money and are going to have to pay less in taxes because they make more. Because, yep, this is the year that Trump decided to screw us even harder. If you're the lowest tier of earners in this country, your taxes went up. And the richer you are, the more they dropped. Because that's how you help people. Trickle down economics. It just hasn't worked yet, but maybe if we keep trying, one of these days it's going to work. Much of the public doubts that Trump is prioritizing their interests. Just 36% now say he has the right priorities, down from 45% near the beginning of his term, which is still absurd. Those numbers are absurd. What priority has he got right? Attacking windmills? That's a right priority. Having people, his armed goon squad, come out there and harass, point guns at, and kill American citizens. Having protesters, which is protesting is protected by the First Amendment of the Constitution, That's the right priority. Yeah. Because see, the only time he supports a protester is when you're a protester that's attacking politicians, killing police officers, beating up police officers in order to overthrow the government in his favor. That's the only time he likes protesters. Because if you do that, yep, you're going to get a presidential pardon. You did it for God, because that's what Trump thinks he is. He thinks he's a god. He's a little dick bastard, and that's just how it is. What else do we got here? There was one more. They do mention Greenland in here. I don't know where it's at. But yeah, people support him for taking over Greenland. And I don't see how. What is this? 35% of that population will be in the cult. Yeah, 100%. They're all going to stay MAGA diehards. And it's insane. It is insane. I know people who are still supporting him, and I don't understand it. How can you go through life having a conscience of any sort, having a brain that functions beyond and think he's doing anything right? That anything he does is appropriate. I mean, he got called out at in, I believe it was Detroit, at the Ford plant for being a pedophile protector. And his response is to say, fuck you, flip you off, fuck you. That's not very presidential. I mean, a president who isn't a pedophile would probably want to come out and protect himself by releasing all the fucking documents that shows he had nothing to do with it. But they can't, because if they do, it proves he's a pedophile. I mean, that's the most clear thing on earth. Yeah, Biden should have also done it. I agree. Biden should have 100% released the files. This should have been done a long time ago. But nope. Now that Pam Bondi's running the DOJ, I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of this term, once they lose, if we do have another election, because he wants to cancel fucking elections, those papers, all the documents will be deleted. They'll be shredded, burned. If they're digital, the hard drives will be completely destroyed, and they'll be gone. So that way nobody can prove he was a pedophile, even though that's just more proof he's a fucking pedophile. He diddled kids. He likes minors. He liked a 13-year-old because they looked like his daughter, because he also wants to sleep with his daughter. I don't get how you people don't understand this. Like, if you're MAGA, how do you not understand that? How is that not clear as day? Is it because he says it's a hoax? It was his best friend, his buddy. He was on his plane multiple times. That's how he met his wife, is through the king of pedophiles. What more proof do you need? Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's priests in Minnesota who joined ICE. You are not a person of God. You do not understand your own book, because you should not treat your neighbor like that. You should not treat someone who's a different ethnicity than you. That's what the Bible says. That's words from Jesus in the Bible. That's red letters. So you joining ICE and being a priest, you should denounce your priesthood, because you do not qualify anymore. You are a scumbag. I mean, you're also probably a pedophile protector, because, you know, we've had an issue in the past multiple times with priests being pedophiles. Shit is ridiculous. Shit is ridiculous. What is this? The protesters stormed the fuck out of his church yesterday. Good. Good. So, I don't understand them. I don't understand how they're supporting this guy. But yeah, they do compare it to Biden at one point in this article. In contrast to Biden, who garnered more tepidly positive ratings, even among many Democrats, which, yes, because he did some things. He's your generic Democrat, which is like, hey, if I sprinkle a few crumbs for you, you'll stay with us. Even if I do a bunch of things bad, like, you know, helping a genocide, you'll still support me because I gave you some crumbs earlier. I mean, Biden did want to remove all college debt or all school debt. if that hadn't happened, that'd be great. I do like him for that. That was a good thing to try to do, even though it got shut down because we have a lot of people who are like, nope, nope, nope. We need the broke to stay broke. We need people to stay in debt, which helps no one. That helps no one. That does not help our economy. If people have money to spend, that boosts our economy because they'll go out and spend it. It's absurd. It is absurd. But here we go. Here are a few things President Trump pledged to do during his inaugural address last year. For each one, please say whether you think he has made progress, made things worse, or not had much of an effect on it. First one is restoring safety in the United States. 35% thinks he made progress. Not sure how. He made it more dangerous by having his Gestapo out there. That's been proven thanks to Minnesota. 20% say he had not much of an effect. 6% had nothing to say, or haven't heard enough to say, which is even more absurd. How have you not heard or seen the fact that he's destroying the economy? And then 39% rightfully say he's made things worse. Then we have another one, which is basically the same thing, bringing law and order back to our cities. Law and order is still on TV, so it should be 100%. But 33% says he did good. 19% says he hasn't had much of an effect. Another 6% then say they have no clue because they haven't heard anything. And 42% rightfully agree that he's made things worse. And it's absurd. Keeping our children safe. 26% believe that the pedophile has kept our children safe. And that, has helped them keep it healthy and disease-free. Which is not true. Not true at all. What is this? You catch any of those loser Gestapo running around your town? No. Luckily, the report that I had last week that they were in town was not true. Somebody pulled off a terrible hoax. Went on Facebook and started, like a small group started posting about how they're at these two hotels. They mentioned the number of rooms they booked and where they're going to be at, like what areas of town. Well, you had people who went out, started recording, looking around for this shit. Never happened. But then people started taking pictures of like 7 cop cars going after one guy. Well, that guy had jumped bail and was wanted. Had nothing to do with ICE, nothing to do with any of that. Dude committed a crime, jumped bail, and they found him. That was not ICE. But it had everybody terrified to the point that at the end of the day, people who work in the city's government had to come out and make videos saying like, hey, relax. There's no proof of this. It has not happened. We have not heard anything. We have not seen anything. And we would have information should this happen. Yeah, people were going up to the hotels and pulling around like, I see no one. Yeah, it was a disgusting hoax. And that kind of hoax is not funny. That's people's lives you're fucking with right there. You will make people go crazy because they are panicked. Because they will probably get shot, beat to death, or thrown in a cell and left to die by ICE. Which, God, they're so disgusting. But yeah, talking about Minnesota. The final story. 1,500 soldiers on standby for possible Minnesota deployment, sources say, as state mobilizes National Guard. Trump wants to have a civil war. He wants it. He wants people to attack ICE. He wants people to attack his regime. That way, he can kill us all. He can enslave us and have us killed. Because if you're not for him, he doesn't believe you deserve to have a life of any sort. He's proven that countless times. He did it in his first term. People were protesting in his way as he wanted to go hold a Bible upside down and take a picture. And he asked if he could have the National Guard just shoot them. That's not a president for the people. That's an insecure little bastard. God, he's so vile. But yeah, he has 1,500 active duty soldiers prepared to deploy to Minnesota, while Minnesota has their National Guard ready to go. So it's going to be a standoff. Because when you get down to all the tactics that they're doing, the states actually have the right to defend themselves against an attack. And from what we've seen from ICE, since they started underneath the Trump administration, yes, ICE has been around for a long time. But the way that it's weaponized now is not the way ICE is supposed to happen. That's not the way it works. He is sicking a military against us, and now he wants to send more military to attack us. And again, it's not just criminals. People still try to defend it. Oh, no. He's just going after the criminals, the bad ones, the rapists and the killers, because that's what he says. And again, this guy does nothing but lie. It's not true. I believe it's only like maybe 7% of everyone they've detained and arrested and threw in a cell has had any sort of criminal record. That means most of these people haven't even had a traffic violation in their entire life. And they're throwing them in cells and leaving them there to rot and die because they don't take care of them. If you're in ICE custody and you have medications you have to take every day to not die, you know what's going to happen? Sadly, you're going to die because they will not give you your medications. They do not care. If you're not them, they do not care. Yeah, they have the 2 battalions of this that Trump sent out. It's from the Alaska-based 11th Airborne Division. So we're also probably going to have bombings happen. What we see in other countries will probably happen here. You'll probably see some soldier in a jet flying over and dropping bombs on U.S. soil to kill U.S. citizens. If that soldier has any sort of like pride and understands what their oath they took when they took their position, their oath to the Constitution, they would understand, shouldn't be doing that. I have the right to not do that because that is an unlawful order. It is against the Constitution. But yet, if you're a former soldier who's also a former astronaut and is now in Senate, they'll just strip you of all your benefits from being a soldier because you can't point out the truth. Don't you dare point out the truth to our soldiers. Ignorant bastards. The Department of War is always prepared to execute orders of the Commander-in-Chief. So, because the little Cheeto, the fat Cheeto, with little hands, wants to come out and say, kill U.S. citizens, the Department of War is ready to enact that. That's what that quote says. That is exactly what that means. There is no other way to interpret that. If Trump wants to kill U.S. citizens, they are ready to kill U.S. citizens. They are ready to violate and continue to shit all over the U.S. Constitution. The FBI, they don't care about you either. They're against you because they're part of the Gestapo regime. And it's sad. It's sad that we have to pull out, like states have to pull out their National Guard to protect themselves from the president. Because the president runs a terrorist organization, which is the Department of War and ICE. They are, by definition, terrorists. A terrorist is someone who unlawfully attacks or threatens citizens for political gains, for political reasons. And that's all this is. It's all politics to Trump. He just wants to make it seem like he has the biggest dick in the world, so he'll kill U.S. citizens, if that's what it means, to prove that he has the biggest dick. Because he's an insecure little old man. Fat little old man. I always forget the fat part. It's hard to forget the fat part, especially when you see his like neck vagina. But yeah, so we're close to a second U.S. Civil War. That's where we're getting to. If you're in Minnesota and you watch this, I do hope you take care. I hope you're safe and you have somewhere to go. The state is currently just not safe, and I apologize for that. I wish it was under better terms, but what can you do when you have a terrorist running the country? Because, yeah, Trump himself, by that same definition, is a terrorist. He threatens U.S. citizens unlawfully for political reasons. It's disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. But yeah, like I said earlier, we're going to be doing the regular podcast tonight, our regular time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Or do we have it at 7:30? We'll do it at 7. It doesn't matter. We're going to do it at 7 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, I hope to see you guys there. Thank you for joining. And yeah, hooray 2026. Best year ever. Best year ever. Start off fantastic. Start off with a bang. But yeah, I will see you guys tonight if you jump on tonight. And if not, until tomorrow, you take care. Enjoy your days.